Okay, so 20 many years ago, I'm in the Bay Area, and there's an incredible local adult paper called, The Spectator. Hello. And they had, once a week, they had an article by a different person, and I read this incredible story by this Carol Queen person, and I read it, and it's like, who is she? I have to meet her because I think that way too. In the early mid-'80s, I really thought I was the only one who was feminist but sexy and wanted to have sex in public and wanted to have, I just it was such a non-feminist thing to do, and I was just really struggling with how could I be a so-called feminist and still be as sexually free as I wanted to be. Imagine my thrill when I read someone who is about my age and she thought the very same way. I'm not alone. This is amazing. So we've been really good friends for 26 years, and she's an amazing author, educator, funny person, amazing writer, and I just cannot wait any longer. Please welcome Dr. Carol Queen, and you can follow her at Carol Queen.
Nina, thank you so much for the good words.
Yes, well, I would say more. So I do not, but then he wouldn't. I could go on and on, but he wouldn't get to talk. Carol's written many wonderful books. One of my favorites is one that she recently got reissued as a second edition with some updated things called Exhibitionism for the Shy.
And who wrote the foreword? You did.
I did. I wasn't going to say that, but it's such a great book. And for years, I've been telling people, you have to get this book. Nina, I can't find it. Now you can find it.
Back in print.
Back in print. It's so good. Both Carol and I are recovering shy people, believe it or not. You'd never know, but we are. And I think even if you never want to do anything in public, most of us have shyness issues when it comes to exposing ourselves to our lovers and our partners and even to ourselves. This book is so useful and helpful. Of all the here's how you can help yourself books, this is one of the best I've ever read, and I read a lot of them. And her style is amazing, it's accessible, warm and friendly. And she's been a video producer, and she works for Good Vibrations, one of the first women-owned adult store?
The second.
The second.
The very first one in the country was Eve's Garden in New York City. I believe it started in 1973, and then Joni Blank started Good Vibrations in San Francisco.
In 77?
77.
The year I got out of high school. So now Good Vibes is a producing entity as well.
Good Vibes has made a sister company to be the producing entity. So, with siblings, I don't know.
Heavily enmeshed.
Yes, we are all very good friends with each other, and sometimes are the same people. And it's called Good Releasing. So Good Vibrations for the vibrators and sex toys. Good Releasing for the releasing of the movies, and possibly they're also talking about the releasing that might be done after people have a friendly release once they see the movies.
And Dr. Queen is also the staff sexologist for Good Vibrations, and so she is a for real doctor.
So when you saw the images of me back in the day explaining the antique vibrators for Nina's movie, that I still do that. You may have seen me on the Discovery Channel or someplace. Every once in a while someone will show up and go, we have discovered that their vibrators existed before 1979. And I'm like, yes, they did. Yes, they did, and here's the story. And in fact, there's a play that's been written about
the vibrators. Have you seen it?
The Vibrator play, In the Next Room, it's called, by Sarah Rule. It's awesome. I believe it's on Broadway now. It's in New York now.
Oh, fantastic.
And so all you, I see that we've got some people from
definitely
the
New York.
Eastern time zone. It's a wonderful play.
Cool.
Really, really cool, and he was pretty close to history, actually. So I go around and show the old crank vibrator.
So it's like a egg beater?
It's just like an egg beater, only it's got a wooden doorknob on it. Because if you use do not use an actual old egg beater to masturbate. If you have any pubic hair left, it will tangle it all up. I know, and some people take their pubic hair out on purpose, and some people do it in a very painful way, but I just got to say there's got to be a better way than that. Don't do it that way. And if you do, write to me and tell me how it went, because I don't want you to do it, but I'm curious still.
We take all stories. So I understand that, so last week we had April Flores on, and she brought back 2 awards from the Feminist Porn Awards, and then before that we had Nika Noel of Sweetheart Productions, and she brought back a Feminist Porn Award. So apparently Good Releasing also picked up some awards?
Picked up a couple 3 Feminist Porn Awards. Now let me see what we've got here. Speakeasy, which is a movie about a speakeasy. sort of a
20s.
madam whom April portrays.
Oh,
and,
lovely.
Lorelei Lee.
Oh, I love Lorelei. She's luscious.
Lee, who won a special feminist porn award for being like a boundary breaker. And
cool. I don't know Gisli.
Oh, you must know Gisli. Oh, she's hot. And Dangerous Curves with April, featuring April. And now the thing about April, and many of you know this already, especially because you met her last week, is that not only is she big and curvy and beautiful, and her AKA is Fatty D, but her main filmmaker is her husband, Carlos Batz. And I gotta say, there are some fine outcomes of romance in this world, and I know many of you have had wonderful relationships yourself, but when your partner is a hot filmmaker and your other partner is a hot film star, marriage made in heaven.
And they love working together, which is really nice. And it's hard, I know that you and your partner love working together. Ernest and I love working together. So it's nice to see other happy couples within the adult business, because it's not always easy.
And it's not always easy for each person to find their place vis-a-vis the other, too. I mean, sometimes one person is more famous than the other one or whatever, but in this case, she is his muse, and that is so wonderful, so wonderful. And he's a great artist. Whether or not he ever met April, he'd still be a great artist, but thank goodness that all happened. And the final one that won a Feminist Porn Award is Fluid, Madison Young's look at male bisexuality and then some. She did one for women, but it's a little more unusual to see men and men's fluid sexuality be depicted. And of course, the Good Releasing has three sides. It's got Real Queer Productions, which is all LGBT queer identified stuff. Heartcore, which is more hetero, which, as we know in porn, also includes female bisexuality, almost as a version of heterosexuality. Go figure. See, that's what confuses the lesbians in the lesbian bars about bisexuality. That's what it's part of that. But the thing that's, I think, really important about Heartcore is they want to put just a new, different kind of an independent spin, another new independent spin on more hetero movies. And then my line is called Pleasure Ed, which pretty much speaks for itself, doesn't it? It's a sex ed line.
You'd think after all this time we wouldn't need all this information about pleasure, but are you astounded, heartbroken, or annoyed, or what, at how much people still don't know? The information's been out there for a long time, and women still don't masturbate. Yeah. We're 35 years past Betty Dodson, and women are still not masturbating.
Well, one of the reasons that women aren't masturbating is because everybody got horrific sex education, who's, anywhere, I got horrific sex education because I'm over 50, and everybody else got horrific sex education because they decided recently that young people had to get horrific sex education. There was probably a minute there where it was starting to turn.
In the late 70s, when I was in high school.
Just starting to. And if you go to a private school now, sometimes you get very good sex ed, but not that many do. And some of those schools even don't do a good job. So the fact is, those of you who are watching this show probably have looked in many other places, too, to get information that means something to you. And of course, you've been there all along, not only putting yourself out there in an exhibitionistic and a fabulous sex positive way, but also saying, by the way, I did go to college and I do have some information here, and I am an RN, and why don't you let me explain some more about the process that we're all undergoing? So I want to send it right back at you, the good words, because without your level of expertise in this mix, I feel like a lot of people who come to porn to learn things and don't necessarily learn the things that they really should be using at home. Without you there, they wouldn't know that there was
something else to
real stuff to learn.
Well, you know about how to show anal sex on camera.